for my north side,
Kiara,
south side,
Kiara,
east end,
Kiara,
west end,
Kiara,
for my H-town,
Kiara,
Seafield,
Kiara,
804,
Kiara,
we them real
Kiara.
niggas, yeah. 2 up, 2 down, rich town. 2 up, 2 down, rich town. 2 up, 2 down, rich town.
It's the Kiara Lee Show.
Rich town.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Kiara Lee Show. I'm Kiara Lee, and today we are talking about a very serious issue, a very serious current event that's been going on in the news. Unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you've heard plenty about it, the Trayvon Martin case and the Trayvon Martin verdict from that case, and racial profiling and all of that. This poor child has died at the hands of someone else due to who he was perceived to be, due to assumptions, due to racism, due to stereotypes. And we are here to talk about that today. Our guest today is Stanley Rayfield, and he's a local artist, and he can talk better about himself than I can. So a few words, Stanley.
Hey, how you doing, Kiara?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm a local artist here in Richmond, and I've been painting for years, and I'm getting ready for my second solo show at Glave Coast and Gallery this December, December 6th, and I'm working on my current series is a series about Bible verses, and that's what I'm working on currently.
Nice, that's great.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here this morning.
I'm happy to have you.
Yeah.
So, as I said, we are here talking about the Trayvon Martin case, you know, the implications behind it. But first, I want to start off with the verdict. George Zimmerman was found to be not guilty. What was your initial reaction, Stanley, when you first heard that? And if you can remember, where were you when you heard that? What was going on? How did you feel when you found out that he was found not guilty?
When I heard about it, the whole day, you know, people were waiting. It was a pretty long day. You find out that they were deliberating for hours, and you know, I knew that when the news broke, you know, it'd be, you know, social media blasts here, radio advertisement, TV thing, it'd be all over everywhere. And I actually wasn't near any of those things. I was on a road trip back from out of town with some friends, and somebody got a text and they saw it, you know, or they were on Facebook and they checked and they said, "Oh my gosh, you know, he's free, you know, he's not guilty." And we just were like, what? It just kind of stopped whatever conversation we were in, and we were just shocked because, you know, you just thought for sure that if somebody executes another person, that there would be some sort of consequence, and you wouldn't think that they'd walk away home. And so, you know, that's a tough pill to swallow, you know, just on a surface level. And so we were just shocked, of course, because, you know, you don't expect somebody to walk away from even admitting that they murdered somebody. You know, it's just like, yes, I did kill them and they're dead now, and now I go home. It just, that's a really tough thing to swallow.
Yes, definitely. And more unarmed black boys are being targeted like this with this racial profiling. I mean, innocent young boys are being shot down and killed like animals, just like you know, just like that. What do you think about that? Why is this going on? You know, it's more and more common. I feel like we hear about it more and more in the news. What's going on?
I mean, I haven't been exposed to a lot of those stories besides the Trayvon Martin as of late. I saw a movie that the Fruitville Station, and that illustrated an example that happened. Was it in New York or California?
It was in California.
California, about in 2008, and it was a similar type of thing with misunderstandings. I think that it exposes a problem that we still have, you know, underlying racial tensions in our country. And I think that just, you know, we all know this, what the root is, you know, it is due to American history. But I think as unfortunate as it is, you know, what are the positive ways that we can solve this thing? You know, I think that anger and dwelling on, you know, whose fault it is kind of the thing that keeps recycling it, you know. I've seen a lot of people that when they were, you know, when they heard about the verdict and when these things happen, they're like, "Oh my gosh, not again. Oh my gosh, you know, no justice, no peace," all things like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what that's doing to help it, because if somebody makes a mistake on that end and we start shouting out no peace on our end, how is that gonna help solve the issue of they're afraid of us and we're creating more fear for them by saying, well, there's no peace on us, we don't like you. So it's like no one likes each other, and we're not realizing we're still human beings and we have more in common than than not in common. I mean, how are we solving it? Because I mean, at the end of the day, we're all God's children. So I just don't know what. I understand the roots, but I just more interested in solutions personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good point. So we're going to talk about solutions in a minute, but I just want to ask you, who do you think is at fault with this? Is it the victims? Is it their fault for having baggy jeans or being on the wrong side of town or acting as a threat or being perceived as a threat? Is it the George Zimmermans of the world that are just acting out on this? Where do you fall with that?
Yeah, I just think it's a breakdown in communication across. It's across for all of us. I think we all could do a better job of communicating with each other. On the day after the verdict, I was in the supermarket, and it really bothered me. I really had this, dark cloud over my head, and I was really having a tough day. And the grocery store I normally go to, it has a certain demographic that is closer to where I live, and it could be at nights. It can be a little rowdy, being politically correct here. And then I went to the same type of store, but just in a nicer neighborhood, and so the demographic was different. There was a lot of Caucasian people walking around, and I just remember looking at them feeling like, man, I bet they don't even care. I bet, I'm just thinking these really terrible thoughts. Like, I wonder if they even care. And I just was just feeling so bad about that. But then one of my friends called me. Her name is Sarah West, and she grew up with me, and her child is my godchild. My godchild's white. And so when she called me, she said, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm okay, and then she's like, but how do you feel about the case? And I just was honest with her. I was like, I just feel like, not again, this and that. And she's like, well, I felt the same way too. And I think that I just want you to know that even though I'm not black, I care. And that made, a huge difference. And I think those type of conversations are what's most important. It's not us getting in our corner, them getting in their corner, being like, oh my gosh, look at them, look at what they're. It's like, where's the communication? Because if George Zimmerman communicated with the boy, like, hey man, are you okay? You need any help? You need any trouble? If he had said, I can call someone for assistance. Or do you need help getting home? Or so, if he had talked to him and not just assumed. If Trayvon had been like. I don't know what they said that night. I don't know what they said, but I know for me that communication is key, and I want to bring positive communication with anybody of any color, because we're all God's children. And so I think it's a breakdown in communication at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as profiling, I know I can say that I've been profiled before. Just the other day, I go to grad school at the University of Virginia. I was catching the bus from the parking garage, and there was a Caucasian woman sitting under the little over thing at the bus stop. And I came walking up with my purse, coming from work, just being myself. I didn't think I seemed threatening at all. I go over there to wait for the bus with her, and she gets up and flees the whole little underhang area and just stands up like, I don't want to be near her. I don't know what she's going to do to me. Oh no, is she going to rob me? Is she going to take my purse? Yeah. And I was just so shocked at that because, I totally understand profiling, racial profiling and everything, but in that particular situation, I didn't see it coming at all. Like, honestly, I expect it in stores. Sometimes I'll even leave my bag in the car because I know I'll get filed, and I'd rather leave my bag in the car than go through the headache of being filed in Nordstrom, which is a horrible thing, but it's true. But I just couldn't grasp the fact that I'm just catching the bus, and you're gonna flee from me like that, like I'm some sort of zoo animal, criminal, monster trying to kill you or something. Yeah. So I say that to ask you, have you ever been in a situation where you've been profiled? And
nothing in particular in my life is coming to mind, but what one time that I do remember, I think I was at a Waffle House, and it wasn't my issue. It was, one of my close friends at the time. He felt that, well, we had a bigger table, and we wanted to bring a table closer. We just wanted to just shift one of the chairs, or borrow a chair or something. And then there was a guy that had this huge table to himself, and he looked at him, could I sit here? And the guy kind of, snubbed him or just looked at him. It was a white guy, just looked at him like, what are you doing in my chair? Or something like that. And he just was so angry that he left and sat in the car while we were eating. And that just kind of put a damper on the whole mood because he felt so upset. And the thing about it was that, two of us, we went outside, including myself, and we talked to him. We were like, why are you going to let this guy ruin your day? Because he's already having a bad day, and in your situation, it sounded like she's having a bad day. I mean, she had just got up and left a perfectly good area where she was comfortable because she felt uncomfortable. And I'm saying just because one person feels uncomfortable, why should you feel uncomfortable? It's like, I'm not going to let the world change me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to walk in love. I'm going to be who I'm going to be. And if somebody wants to act crazy, I know about, 10 people I can call who aren't my complexion either that love me, and one person that doesn't. I would imagine that they have an issue with their love walk and who they are on the inside and with me because of my skin color. And how would they know that they don't need to feel that way if one of us doesn't show them the love that we have? You know what I'm saying? If we just react and say, well, if she's going to do that, I'm going to do that. Or if, he's not going to let me sit here, I'm going to go outside. Like, you just fed into it, I don't think that's a win for anybody. I'm all about winning,
Very interesting point.
Yeah.
So back to the Trayvon Martin case in particular, people have been making mockeries of it. People have been dressing in blackface for Halloween. People have been posing with bloody tank tops and cans of Arizona iced tea and a bag of Skittles and just totally degrading the fact that an innocent young boy was lost at the hands of a random aggressor. And, it being Halloween weekend and everything, how do you feel about these people just making fun? Are we making too big of a deal of it? Is it just Halloween? Is it just, we're just having fun, just making light of it? Or is it really serious degradation that needs to be addressed?
I mean, I think the people who do that, who are, have enough time in their hands to go ahead and put blackface on and find a hoodie, find a friend. I saw a picture online. It was a person in the middle. It was like 3 people at a party. It looked like in the picture they were just in an environment like that. And one person had on the blackface and the thing, and they had like a bullet wound. Another person had on the neighborhood watch shirt, and obviously they wanted attention. Like they must have really had a boring night for them to say, I need to just do something just disrespectful to get attention. And it's just like, I mean, God forbid something happens to them where they need sympathy. It's like, things you can't just do that and expect to live your life and not have somebody do that of you. I mean, if suppose they had a sick relative or something, or somebody in their family that had a condition or something, they were in a wheelchair. How would they feel if they saw somebody make fun of them not being able to walk? So it's just like, I think they're gonna have to deal with their own, with that type of thing, because that's a really terrible thing to do, and they know that's wrong. Nobody just is insensitive without thinking about it. People know the jokes they say. They know what that could do, and it's just like they probably are, they saw those pictures go viral around the internet. People saying, aren't you outraged? And they probably just high five and just say, look at all these people talking about it. They probably wanted that attention, and I feel like, unfortunately, it's a free country. It is Halloween. A lot of crazy things happen on that night, and it's just one of those things where I don't like to give those type of things attention. I'd rather just, go back to winning.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. So you had mentioned, as far as solutions, that having conversations and talking about this and opening up the lines of communication among the races,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
within the Black community, is important.
Yeah.
How do you think? What do you think is a way to initiate these conversations, or what would it look like? Because I know it's easier said than done.
Yeah. I think if you have in your heart that you genuinely care about a person beside you, and you'd like to be you'd like to empathize and get to know their situation. How was your day? What do you do? What do you care about? I think if you really are open, you just find that love on the inside, and you're open to somebody as a person, and you ask them questions. I think a lot of times I've jumped into those conversations with people, it's because they do something I don't understand. Like, I enjoy going to Panera Bread. I love Whole Foods. I love Elwood Thompson's. Back in high school, I wasn't aware of the nutritional value of not eating white bread. I thought, Wonder Bread was awesome. You put some toast on, some butter on that. You put some cheese in between, get some grilled cheese, and that's just what I knew because of where I grew up and what my parents could afford. But I was blessed to have the opportunity to be in a program in my high school that had kids from different areas in this one class for arts. It was like a specialty center for the arts at Henrico High School.
Okay.
And they had kids from all over. So, I went to Henrico, I had kids in there from Godwin, from, just all over the county, and different demographics, different backgrounds, different families, different religious backgrounds, all kinds of things. And they showed me the value of counting calories and knowing things, and that's something that helps my health. It's helpful. So it's not just about the healing that comes from knowing another person's struggle, but it's so you can just learn something practical that your parents might not have taught you, that your friends might not know, because you went and taught to another culture. A lot of us like Asian food, or Chinese, or just of other demographics, foreign foods, and why not get to know the person who made the food, who can show you a recipe instead of just eating the food? It's, we got to just be able to be open to talk to people, because they're just people, and they won't know the type of love and the type of pain that you share if you're not even able to talk to them, And so I think, it's not a big deal unless you make it a big deal to talk to somebody else. I don't see how that's hard, to talk to somebody and just genuinely be curious about who they are, Yeah, I think it's doable.
So as far as doing that, as far as like initiating these conversations, going along the lines of like immersion, like, being more comfortable with other groups, being more comfortable with other races, etc. What happens when you meet defiance, when you try to do that? What happens when I go into an area wanting to, start such a conversation, and they don't let me in because I'm perceived a certain way, or I'm perceived to be uneducated, or I'm perceived to be a threat, and it's completely shut down. So how do you force those conversations when you have people still living in the 1950s, still living in the ways of the Klan, or at least still thinking in the ways of the Klan?
I don't feel like it's the goal. The goal should be to necessarily be everybody's friend. Because if you go in there saying, I gotta be, I gotta make friends with these people, I gotta be fit in and this and that, I think that's a limited goal. I think the goal should be to show the love you have so that they can learn something. Because even if they're not your friend, they'll still learn something. I saw the movie 42, the Jackie Robinson movie, and watching his story, how he entered, major leagues as being the first African American. Nobody in the locker room wanted to sit next to him or anything like that. The only person that had his back was the owner that brought him there, because the owner wanted to win. He's like, this brother can win. I want to win. I want to work with him. And if you got a winning attitude and you're just an achiever and you're good at what you do, when you talked about education, if you are educated and you do have value, anybody that wants to have value, be around a winner, will receive that. Anybody who doesn't obviously doesn't want to win. So the people who want to win, they're not thinking about race. They're not thinking about those basic things. They're thinking about who's the best person for the job. And even if you got one person that has your back, you don't really need friends. You know what I'm saying? For me, that's what God is for. That's what Jesus is for. I don't need friends. I just need to be winning. Anybody else who isn't with it, they don't want to win. I don't need to deal with them. That's my attitude about it.
Interesting point. So my last question for you. People have been saying we are all Trayvon. We are all Trayvon Martin.
Mm-hmm.
How do you identify in that?
Man, Trayvon Martin, my understanding of what he was, he was visiting his parents. He was suspended from school for, it's just issues in school. It was related to marijuana or having, that was found. So he just was released from school, as they should do. I know in high school that's something that I battled with, I experimented with. And so for me, I can relate because I remember just being suspended for different things and, just being in trouble. I wasn't a perfect person. I'm definitely not a perfect person now, but I've come a long way, through my walk with God and just growing up. And for him to be, 17, 16, and have that cut short, I can identify with, man, that could have been me. That could have been me where I'm in this bad situation that went too far. I mean, I have friends who, they make a decision, they get caught and they get, locked up or they get caught up with the wrong people. And that could have happened to all of us. And I think that when we see this happen and we see, how someone's life got cut short, that's the parts that saddens me. As an African American male, because I can, I see my likeness in it. So I identify in the sense that could have been me. I could have been in that situation, with the things I've done. I'm not too far removed from him. But I mean, it's by the grace of God that a lot of us come out of these situations, and unfortunately he didn't, but I just got to believe that there's positive things that can be changed with this, because I will say that through this, it opened everybody's eyes up. It blessed me to look online and I saw, it was parents and children, their reaction with the case and everything, and they had them ask questions and just write tweet comments, and these were the kids tweeting and the parents tweeting of different backgrounds. It wasn't just African Americans, it was white, it was Asian, and everyone had the same thing to say, like, this is so sad, that could have been my child, and they weren't just black. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of people who felt the same way, like that could have been me, because we've none of us are perfect. We've made mistakes in school, and we all wear hoodies, because if it's cold you're gonna wear a hoodie. So it's unfortunate what happened, but I think we gotta put a positive foot forward.
Very good. Well, I thank you so much, Stanley, for being on the show.
All right.
Thank you for your comments and thank you for what you've had to say. Really appreciate you being here, and I wish you the best of luck in your endeavors with your art and everything.
StanleyRayfield.com if you want to keep up with my work and see more of what I'm up to and what I'm painting next.
Okay.
Yeah. God bless you.
All right. God bless you too. Thank you. And so we've had our discussion about Trayvon Martin and the case and the implications and the stereotypes and everything. As far as my opinion with it, I feel like our black males in this country are in a state of emergency. There's a state of emergency as far as how they are being perceived, the assumptions that are coming up with that, and then ultimately being targeted by police and being shot and killed. And I think that we owe it to our black sons. We owe it to our black fathers. We owe it to our black husbands, our black brothers, our black nephews, to let them know of this, to enlighten them, to strengthen them, and to stand by their side, to have their back, and to just let them know that this is an unfair world. Unfortunately, it's an unfair world, and we've got to support each other. Like Stanley said, we've got to support each other. We've got to communicate. We've got to stand strong in order to have a fighting chance to survive. I've done a spoken word piece called Letter to My Future Son, which is about this very topic that I'd like to show you all. It's pretty much me addressing my future son about the ills of this world, about, the things Trayvon Martin has had to face, about the stereotyping that Emmett Till had to face, and the countless others that have gone before my future son, and just giving him some love and shedding some light on it, and just letting him know, you've got a mom, you've got a family, you've got God that supports you. Although this is an unfair world, although the picture may not always be pretty, although there are some ugly parts of society, you are still supported, you are still loved. And that's what we have to do. That's what we have to show to our black sons, our black fathers, our black brothers, and all the men around us. And I'd like for you all to check this out. It's going to play right now. Thank you. Hello, son. Looking forward to the day that we meet. But before we do, let me give you the word on the street. Word on the street is society doesn't value your life as much. But if I warn you now, maybe we can prepare. Maybe it won't be so rough. You will always be the king of my heart, with your African features and your skin so dark. Darker than the skin of most people you'll see in this land of the free that still ain't free. You will be a king, but still looked at as a slave, seen as rambunctious and uneducated and unable to behave. And when you walk around, women may grab their bags thinking your lot in life is to take all that they have. And the men, many will be intimidated by your smarts, your strength and your power and your ability in the arts. I know, this is all starting to paint an ugly picture, but don't worry, my son, I'm here to work with you. We'll work on your education in college. I'll get you there. But first, you must learn how to navigate the school halls, because even there it is not fair. But that's okay, because no matter what people do or what people say, nobody can ever take your education away. You'll have to watch what you say and watch what you wear. The hats on your head and how you wear your hair. Because certain looks and certain words can kill. Like your brother Trayvon Martin and your brother Emmett Till. I write this to warn you, but please, son, don't stress. These ills have been around and you're not even here yet. But I have a plan, and God does too, and you will fearlessly live your life with all the fruits given to you. But first, I must finish my education and learn all I can to create a better situation. Then the day will come and I'll meet someone, and me and a strong black man will become one. And that strong black man will be your daddy. And he'll be so glad and he'll be so happy to teach you everything he can about being your best, about being a man. Although this world may not welcome you with warm open arms, son, don't be discouraged and don't be alarmed. Because you will always be the king of my heart, with your African features and your skin so dark.
This for my north side,
Kiara.
south side,
Kiara.
east end,
Kiara.
west end,
Kiara.
for my H-town,
Kiara.
Seafield,
Kiara.
804,
Kiara.
we them real,
Kiara.
yeah, 2 up, 2 down, rich town, 2 up, 2 down, rich town, 2 up, 2 down, rich town.